first one to answer this. Do you support the ethanol industry and the state vehicles running E30?
Absolutely. Driving over here through District 1, coming from Sisseton, just looking out over the country and thinking, you know, one of the things that come to mind is our farmers and the importance of agriculture in South Dakota and what a way to support them.
In my prior remarks, I said that the E30 was a good idea. I think it is still a good idea. I haven't changed my mind in the last 3 minutes. And the fact is, when we can make a change that isn't going to hurt our vehicles and it is going to help our farmers, it seems to me that that's a pretty smart change. So what we need to do is look at things like this and say, does it make business sense? Does it make smart sense? Is it good for our farmers? Is it good for our families? Is it good for our vehicles? And the answer to all that is yes, so it must be a good idea. Thank you.
On this issue, as a former producer and still share some profits from the land, that anything that can help the ag industry is great. E30 is a good component. I think Brown County adopted that resolution, and I think the state should move forward and set a good example for the use of E30. Thank you.
I think there's been a lot of favorable comments about the E30, and I certainly wouldn't see that as a negative thing to do at the state level. When we were in business, we had blender pumps that we put in, and you know, that it was quite costly, but we believed in South Dakota and we believed in supporting the farmers. So we put the blender pump in, and E30 was probably more popular than the E20. We had 3 different blends. And so, you know, I don't see it as a problem. I think it's something that we can do. Thanks.
Well, ethanol has been one of the issues that I've been the strongest advocate for over 10 years. It was one of the issues that got me into politics and policy. And I certainly believe in the ethanol industry and have been a very strong supporter. Not only does it help our farmers and ranchers, it creates jobs, it creates local money, it keeps that industry in South Dakota and in our small communities. And I think that's what's really important. And as many of the other candidates said, you know, it's good for our vehicles, it's good for our environment, it's good for our economy in South Dakota. You know, it creates a diversity for our farmers about where they can sell their products and stuff. So I believe in it. I'll always be a big ethanol advocate, and we absolutely need to take a first step as a state in implementing that in our state vehicles and show everyone else that it's good. Thank you.
I too am a proponent of ethanol in our state, as long as it's beneficial to the producers and beneficial to the users of the product. I see no problem with it, as long as it doesn't come to a case where we need to start subsidizing one way or another. I mean, we're already looking at $12 billion in agriculture subsidy, some of that coming to South Dakota. You know, do we want to become the state that's known as the subsidized state? You know, I think we want to earn a little bit more respect in that. But I am definitely a proponent of ethanol. Thank you.
Well, I grew up with a dad who worked for the ethanol company. So I spent a lot of time in ethanol plants. I got a sister now who works in an ethanol company. I have a brother who also has worked in an ethanol company. So yeah, I believe in ethanol. It gives a place for the farmers, another choice for the farmers to sell their corn, keep it locally, less transportation costs, get a little better price. Our cattle producers get the distiller's grain off of it. So if our state can help our own people, that's what we should do. So let's see what we can do about implementing that.
In my opening remarks, I believe I addressed the the issue of being in favor of ethanol and the state mandating the use of it in the state fleet of vehicles. I still, you know, I haven't, as Carl says, I haven't changed my mind in the last 10 minutes, so. You know, you hear a lot of misinformation, I believe, from the petroleum industry about how ethanol and alcohol and the fuel is going to damage the engines and the vehicle. For the years I farmed, ever since the late 80s when ethanol became available, I was using the E10, and that was all we had delivered to the farm. I imagine over the years, cumulatively probably driven vehicles 1.5 million miles using ethanol, and we've never really had any trouble with the engines or anything in them. So I'm still, I'll continue to be a strong supporter and proponent of the use of ethanol on E30.
Well, I'm definitely a strong supporter of E30 as well, so much so that I'm burning it in my car right now. I've burnt it for not quite a year now, and I found it to be, as far as fuel economy goes, no difference, and it's usually 20 to 30 cents cheaper in my car. So if you can save 20 to 30 cents a gallon while supporting the agriculture economy in South Dakota, of course I would support the state fleet being run on E30 because we can save the dollars and support our agriculture economy. So that's actually one thing I learned about. I served on the transportation committee for the last 2 years, and we had a hearing on E30 that was urging the governor to run the state fleet on E30. And I actually learned a lot of information from that hearing, and after that, that's what I burned. So learned a lot from that, and I'm definitely a supporter of E30.
I think anything that we do for our egg community, with that being our #1 industry in the state, it's a good idea. And like Drew said, if we can save money while helping out farmers and egg producers and get the same kind of fuel economy, it's a great idea to me, so I also support it.